Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talk 189th edition of the 189th episode. In the last 188 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 3,000 school leaders from across the world on different ideas in education. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक के 189वें एपिसोड में। पिछले 188 एपिसोड में करीबन 3-3.5 हजार से ज्यादा स्कूल लीडर्स से, प्रिंसिपल से हमने बातचीत की और ये जानने की कोशिश की कि वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं। So today, when we all come together this evening, we're going to discuss something that's quite an important topic, and I would rather suggest quite a paradoxical topic, because this is something that we teach a lot, that we preach even more, but we don't practice at all, because we don't have sustainable school campuses around us. So let's try to talk about something that we all want, but we don't work for. I would rather be a little sarcastical when I say this, or satirical when I say this, but that's the sad reality, because when you're talking to kids, they would not listen to what you say, but they'll absolutely emulate or copy what you do. So that's the biggest problem when we talk of sustainability. We never do what we say, and what we say, we don't do it. So let's try to know from the school leaders today that what do they think, that is it really important, critical, or absolutely unnecessary to have a sustainable school campus. तो आज अगले 60 मिनटों में इन स्कूल लीडर से हम ये चीज जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि सस्टेनेबल स्कूल कैंपस क्या बहुत जरूरी है, क्या इनके बिना काम नहीं कर सकता, या ये बिल्कुल ही गैर जरूरी है, इनके बिना बहुत तसल्ली से काम चल रहा है। ये जान के समझ के ये जानने की कोशिश करते हैं कि भविष्य का स्कूल कैसा होना चाहिए। So thank you so much everyone for joining in for the 189th episode. Before we start, just some simple ground rules. Blub World Web Talk is not a talking marathon, it's a speaking sprint. ये 100 मीटर की रेस है, 3 मिनट में खत्म हो जाती है। तो जैसे ही आपका बोलने का समय खत्म होगा, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity interesting, crisp and enjoyable for everyone. And secondly, it's a bilingual platform. आप अंग्रेजी या हिंदी में से, दोनों भाषा में से कोई भी भाषा इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. Please don't use a third one, because I might not get it, but that's not a disrespect to any of the languages. So thank you once again for joining in. Let's start talking about sustainable school campuses, and who to start the discussion better than somebody who's already running one. So let's bring in somebody who knows that how does that cat really come out of the box, and how does that really act upon when you start running a sustainable school. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Usha Iyer, the Principal and Director for the Green School Bangalore from Bengaluru, Karnataka. Usha मैम, आप बड़े अच्छे तरीके से जानते हैं कि सस्टेनेबल स्कूल कैंपस कैसा होता है, कैसा नहीं होना चाहिए, और उसके लिए क्या क्या करना पड़ता है. So let's try to know from you that what should be a sustainable school campus. Over to you ma'am, and a very warm welcome.
आपने जो है सस्टेनेबल बोला, इसलिए मैंने ज्वाइन किया इसको, इस फोरम में, because the Green School Campus, we breed sustainability, and it's very important. We talk about 2030 UNESCO goals, and everybody talks about it, but as you said, Daksh, rightly, that nobody implements it. We thought about it in 2019. I conceptualized the entire idea in 2018 to make it sustainable, and we actually achieved it. About the sustainable goal number 4 and 7 we achieved last year, and we also got an award for it from ArcDec. But we're not doing anything for awards and rewards. We're doing for making the children realize that this is going to deplete in the future. How are we going to talk about the parallel fuels? We talk about zero energy, zero waste, and zero carbon school. And how are we going to implement it in reality? How the children are going to work in reality in these situations, and how they are going to be the future leaders, how they're going to take it further and make the planet sustainable. The whole idea is that only. So we have talked about water first. So water के लिए हमने जो है pure water के लिए हमने बोला next, now today it is pandemic. Tomorrow it will be a groundwater depletion. Then what happens if groundwater depletes? So immediately we thought about capturing the water from the moisture and that making the pure water, and talking about the pure water in a sense, a real sense, we're going to implement it, and we are already in the process of doing that. And so children understand that moisture se bhi water jo hai create kiya ja sakta hai, and you can have a drinkable water. Second, we talked about carbon, which is a lot in the environment. We're going to put carbon panels inside the school so it sucks the oxygen. And if you see my school, you'll find that a lot of trees are there around, and we're talking about one tree generating about 167 kilograms of oxygen in the environment. And we also put a lot of bamboos as well. Bamboo actually generates oxygen in the environment. Everybody knows about it. So we have made even my whole building, if you see that, lot of natural light comes in between, and a lot of natural air comes there. So children are actually breathing fresh air. So mainly these are sustainable goals, which is very important for a school. Everybody has a rainwater harvesting. Everybody has got these kind of natural things in school, but children have to be taught about parallel fuels. And that's why the whole campus is solar campus. We talk about zero energy. If you see my buses, they don't have they don't have petrol and diesel. We run on CNGs. And we also have an electric car in the school to, deploy the employees of the school. So why I'm saying this, we have to go in the future and think about it, because that is how we have to tell the children how to save the fuel. And even although the children have electricity at home, we tell them that you are the brand ambassadors of our school. So you need to save electricity at home. So these are small things, exercises we give, and we say that you can be sustainable at home as well. But we're not here to tell them that you switch over to solar totally and stuff like this. But yes, there are a lot of activity which is done. We have an eco farm wherein they make a manure as well. They, they recycle, reject, and reuse. That they definitely do. And all the wood what we use in the furniture as well, it's not made of wood. It's made out of the waste wood, and it comes around it's a lot of expensive. People think, green is very cheap. Green is not cheap. We talk about bamboo, we talk about laterite, we talk about so many other things, which is parallel kind of the infrastructure, which we can use instead of cement and stuff like this. Gypsum we can use in the infrastructure, but these are all very expensive. But yes, it is here to teach the children that there are certain things which can be used, and you can make a green, school as well. So these are things, and we are planning to go to United Nations on 25th of September, talk in the United Nations about what is sustainability and what are the goals. And India also looks at it, and India is the place for it actually, where the sustainability is there, because every village talks about the sustainability in India, in fact. So we have to go back to our roots, Daksh. That's what I can say. In a nutshell, I can say only this much, but there's so much to talk about sustainability and how we go about doing it, because we don't even use the ordinary paper. We use about sugarcane paper. So we don't use that paper, which is like cutting the trees, because the idea is not to cut the trees.
Thank you so much, Usha ma'am. When you're trying to meet the SDGs by actually implementing a lot of stuff, and I think एक बहुत important element उसका ये भी है कि आप जो implement कर रहे हैं वो अपने students को बताना शुरू करें, उसे पढ़ाना शुरू करें. Because the problem that most of the schools face is वो पढ़ा बहुत कुछ लेते हैं लेकिन उसे दिखा नहीं पाते. And I think your school is a good example where people can come down and see that how do you actually make a zero carbon school, and उसमें क्या लगता है, from the paper to furniture to the plantation to solar panels and everything. Because being green, as you very rightly said, is not cheap. It's super expensive, and when it's expensive, it gets difficult to implement. अब ऐसे में when you go to a tier 2 or tier 3 town, जहाँ पे dynamics पूरी तरीके से बदल जाते हैं, जहाँ affordability change हो जाती है, क्या वहाँ पे green school होना viable है, practical है, किया भी जा सकता है या किया ही नहीं जा सकता? Let's try to know it from a principal who comes from a tier 2, tier 3 town, and what does he think that is having a sustainable school campus important or it's absolutely unnecessary, क्योंकि हम शिक्षा ही नहीं पूरी कर पा रहे हैं, हम sustainability कहाँ से पूरी करेंगे? Or he thinks that sustainability still can be achieved in a tier 2 or tier 3 town. A very warm welcome, Mr. Ajendra Tiwari, the principal of Seth MR Jaipuria School from Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. Ajendra जी, अब आपसे ये जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि आपका sustainability पे क्या thought है, because tier 2, tier 3 में बड़ा challenge ये होता है कि जो आपका ecosystem है, वो इन बातों के ऊपर बात ही नहीं कर रहा होता, तो इसकी criticality कम हो जाती है. So what's your thought on this? Over to you.
I wanted to say thanks for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Daksh. And regarding tier 1 and tier 2, I may not be able to give a very profound explanation on that one, but I just wanted to say that it is very important and extremely important to implement sustainable school campus means surroundings. And it is something that idea of green school is something which helps the surroundings and maintain eco-balance. As per my opinion, we pedagogical leaders are responsible for laying the foundation of sustainable school campuses and learning. If I am going to make my school sustainable school, then I have to associate it with learning to cross all the boundaries of my school campuses, because I know learning begins from my school and policy makers implement it at large. So the concept which I really wanted to convey is that it is very important to understand that whatever we are doing in the school itself, this should go outside the boundaries of the of my school, and children should learn and they will just implement it outside. And as far as the policies are concerned, whatever the concepts will come out accordingly, I think it will come up. I just wanted to end up over here because I may not be able to speak more than this. That's all.
Thank you so much, Ajendra ji. And you talked about responsibility of sustainability. ये तो सारे स्कूल लीडर्स को है ही. And उसके साथ साथ I think एक बहुत critical factor ये भी है कि स्कूल इस responsibility को केवल और केवल policy perspective से ना देखें, वो इसको life perspective से देखें. जैसे हमारी education policy और United Nations की education directives and at the same time Industrial Revolution के जो 4.0 goals हैं, उन सभी में कहा है कि learning for life. So when we talk of learning for life, it has to go beyond policies and implementation and execution. And I think आप काफी सही ट्रैक पर हैं कि उसके साथ में learning जुड़ी रहेगी तो ज्यादा लंबा चलता रहेगा in the school ecosystem. Let me invite another guest, Ms. Jyoti Mehndiratta, the Deputy General Manager for Academics and Training from Seth MR Jaipuria Group of Schools from Delhi. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Let's talk about sustainability from you and how do you view it as a group school leader?
Good evening to all of you. I joined late. I was stuck up in a traffic jam, which happens most of the times in Delhi, a city like Delhi. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak on that. I am, the place that we are working on in Seth MR Jaipuria schools, we believe in the core of our value system is SPICE, which we talk about sustainability, possibility, integrity, collaboration, and empathy. All these value systems are there, but on the top is sustainability. When we talk about sustainability, it is not only sustainability in terms of environment or in terms of doing good things around the infrastructure, sustainability in all forms and all possibilities, right? When we talk about a sustainable campus, it also entails the value system of the campus, that it is long lasting. The value, the culture that we develop in our children, the teachers who are the main spine of a school. Today, there is a lot of problem in the retention of the teachers in the school campuses. Most of us are facing this problem because of the digital era that has come up. So where can we sustain this also? So it is not sustainability of the environment, of the human resource also. We are talking about a world where we are looking into, the pandemic has showed us that how much important it is to value the environment and value the things around us. And that is what we should go ahead and tell our children also. Fortunately, because of the pandemic, we were able to explain it to our children in a much better manner. Otherwise, it was there in the books. Nobody could show them the real life example that this could all actually happen. Today, we can go back and say that in 2020, from Punjab, the Himalayas were visible because there was a time when it happened, right? The AQI index did go down in Delhi. And there is a whole record, 6 months record showing that how much the vehicles, the factories and all these things are affecting the environment a lot. And these are case studies. These are case studies for our children, for our teachers to take them into the class and talk about it. Today, when we tell our children to switch off the lights or switch off the fans or take care of the furniture also, it should be taught from pre-primary class, not from wait till class 6, 7th, and 8th to do the thing. When a child of a pre-primary class is walking out, he or she should be told that you have to switch off, that you have to push in your furniture. A small thing like picking up the chair and pushing it in and not scraping it out is also a part of telling them that how sustainability is going to work. Generally, when we talk about sustainability, we talk about in concern with environment only. I believe, and I feel the place that I work, believe in the sustainability of human resource a lot, because this human resource, if it's sustainable, if it's able to belong at a particular place for a longer time, will think for the betterment of that place. Long ago, we used to hear from our dads, from our grandparents, कि हमने तो 20-20 साल वहां काम किया, 15-15 साल वहां काम किया, और वो जो लॉयल्टी होती थी उस जगह के लिए. I still remember my uncle who retired from the bank. He cried not because he was retiring, He cried because he didn't want to disassociate with the things that he used to do there, right? And that is what we want our children to feel, our teachers to feel, that disassociation should not be there. आप अगर किसी जगह पे एक लंबे समय तक काम करते हो, तो आप उस जगह के लिए फीलिंग रखते हो, इमोशनली कनेक्ट रहते हो, and it is all a game of mental and emotional. The heart and the mind has to sync together if we want to create a sustainable environment anywhere, be it a environment friendly environment or be it a human resource sustainability. We have to.
Thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. 3 minutes are over, but we'll again try to come back to you. आपने कुछ बहुत important points say. You talked about sustainability from the environment aspect and at the same point human resource aspect, because ये दोनों चीजों को balance करना बहुत important है. When we talk of the school ecosystem especially, वो एक HR intensive industry है, वहाँ पे HR बहुत critical element है, उसके बिना education ecosystem exist ही नहीं करता. So when it's the foundation of everything, तो आप sustainability को केवल और केवल environment के perspective से नहीं देख सकते, आपको उसको HR perspective से, policy perspective से, execution perspective से भी देखना होगा. So thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Ms. Dipika Rao, the head of school from Green Valley School, Mallorca from Spain. दीपिका मैम, आपसे एक इंटरेस्टिंग बात हम जानना चाहेंगे. आपने इंडियन इकोसिस्टम भी देखा है, अब आप स्पेनिश एजुकेशन इकोसिस्टम भी देख रहे हो. दोनों देशों को अगर देखें तो लोगों का साइकोलॉजी काफी कुछ एक जैसा है, इकोसिस्टम्स बहुत ज्यादा करीबी हैं. So what do you think that is sustainability as important a topic in that part of the world as well, or there is some difference in the discussions that you see there? Over to you.
It's interesting because sustainability is a hot topic everywhere. Okay, the only thing is that when you come from richer nations where some things are kind of taken for granted, it doesn't strike a bell. But I look at sustainability in a very different way. We spoke about the UN sustainability goals. Now, when UN establishes sustainability goals, what is the idea? The idea is to make the students realize that the world today is interconnected and challenges that we are facing as humanity are common. So I would say that when I look at sustainability as a big goal, I do not look at the small things that we are kind of intending to do within the community. I think of it as larger, in a larger umbrella of teaching it as a concept. What exactly is sustainability and why is it so important? I would want my students to understand that the world today is interconnected. A global phenomena in one part of the world impacts others. For example, the Ukraine and Russia war has raised up the price of food grains, which is again a sustainability matter for us. We also look at sustainability in terms of our own ability to produce things as a country. If I look at sustainability in terms of garments, we all know that hand-woven garments that India is quite popular for are pretty expensive as compared to other garments. So how do we intend sustaining our industries vis-a-vis with the costings? So this is a very entangled game of not just global challenges, but it's also a game where the country economy also plays a huge part in terms of sustainability. It cannot be just spoken of in terms of something very small and very light. It's all about how a country's economy is, what percentage of the economy are you putting aside for pushing the sustainability goals, what kind of awareness campaigns do we create, and are we going to make it a part of the school curriculum where even small children start learning of sustainability, not just as just electricity. So I think that this is where I come from. Of course, see, our education system and the education system in different countries does differ. And the awareness level of students are also very different, because students who've traveled a lot vis-a-vis students who have traveled in a limited manner, their perceptions would also be different. So today we might not be able to take our children elsewhere all the time, but we can definitely bring the world to them by bringing in the core things that we have. And as far as policy making is concerned, I think that's a very, very big thing. Advocacy is a big way to do it, but advocacy simply as a word doesn't mean anything unless and until we invite students to be a part of the decision making. So when we are looking at sustainability, making a sustainable school, let the students research and find out how do they wish to make their school as a sustainable school. Rather than coming from us, it should come from them. Then it becomes intrinsic. As long as we are pushing it down their throat, it is extrinsic. And I'm always for an intrinsic change. Every true learning must result in an action. That's what I believe. So let's bring about true learning, and the actions, right actions, will result bringing in the change. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dipika ma'am. And I think you added the perspective of policy making to it, and उसके बाद में economics of sustainability, how our countries dependent on each other. And I think it's very important for a school student to also understand that he is going to be a part of the larger community in a very short while. Because normally when you talk to schools, या जब school leaders से या teachers से बात करते हैं, they are always of the opinion that let's create a cocoon for students, कि जहाँ पे वो थोड़े से safe रहें, थोड़े secure रहें. हम उन्हें असली दुनिया से जुड़ने देते नहीं हैं. हम कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा सा गैप बनाए रखना चाहते हैं because उन पे कोई गलत impact नहीं पड़ जाए. But the challenge right now is that whether you let them connect with the world or not, they are connected. They know everything. And you cannot put a filter anywhere. So since you cannot put a filter, let them talk it out. उन्हें अपने अंदर से आप वो जिज्ञासा पैदा करने दीजिए that they see how the world is changing, how is sustainability changing. And I would rather suggest कि हम लोगों का जो एक मतलब while since we are doing something called the World Teen Parliament where we talk to teenagers every single day and हम वहाँ पे specifically policy making पे ही बात करते हैं कि teenager policy को कैसे impact कर सकता है. I think it's very important for us as adults to understand that let's not think that policy is distant from us. हम बहुत ज़्यादा policy से policy maker से बहुत ज़्यादा distant हो चुके हैं. When we all the educated people must understand that it is a right to be a part of policy making. If somebody does not respond to your policy suggestions, it's your problem. It's not their problem. And I think when we are in democracies and when we are in so enriched and so enthusiastic democracies, we should never lose that out. I think advocacy should essentially be a part of school curriculum because for a very simple reason, that's the only audience and the only age group that's non-voting. So that's absolutely unbiased. That's why they must be taught how democracy grows up. Because after that, once you become a voter, there's a lot of bias that comes in. And I think at that point, you can really teach the concept. Let's not find ourselves very far away from policy, but I think some very good points of interconnection of countries. Because when you talk of sustainability, that's very critical now because we've all seen it with COVID in all our lives. Thank you so much, Dipika ma'am. Let me know the next speaker for today, Dr. Karun Gaur, the director of JKG International School from Gaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. Karunji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Daksh, and thank you all and a warm welcome to all the panelists. For sustainable school, what actually we are doing, let me tell you, we are working on 3 stages. One is food, and another one is electricity, and the third one is water. So already before me, few of the panelists covered all the things, but what actually we are doing, and we are trying to, make it a daily basis, mandatory work to most of the kids is we have, first we are working for zero wastage of food. We have kept a fridge outside, on the main entry area gate of our school, where we try to tell all the students that whatever food left out, first you just eat your food and don't, the food which you don't want to eat, kept it aside. And when you are going back to your home, kept that food in the fridge. So whosoever needed outsiders, because that fridge is kept outside of the campus, but adjacent to the campus. So by that mean every child, they are not throwing their, most of the time, someone is bringing bindi, mummy ne dal ke de diya, and they are throwing in the dustbin. So we are telling them there are people, those who are not getting food and they don't have money, or they are restless or homeless. So they are keeping the food there, and it is working very in wonderful manner before COVID. But now things are going on gradually smooth. So now we'll start again for that project. Another one is zero wastage of water. We are telling every child that your school is working on it, that not a single drop of water is going to waste in our school. The management we have creating, and we are giving the projects to the senior students how to save the water. And then they have to explain in the assembly to all the kids that this way your school are working it. So same way you also have to do it at your home and your place. Another one that we are totally dependent on the solar only. We are not, we are not taking electricity from the department. 100 kVA solar panels we have implemented in our school roof. So this is also one of the step which school is doing. And same way we are telling the students that this way, if you can save more and more natural resources, then it will be going to helpful to your next generation. Today, if you are not getting electricity on 24 hours, this is also because of us, because we are wasting the electricity. Even either you are at home or you are at house, you have to, or school, you have to see how and what are the best way to save water, energy, and food. And if you during special days like 15th August, 26th January, what we do is school take a group of students, and we go to the poor people or needy people, and we let them distribute from their hands, so that they can feel, they can get the feeling that after what feeling you get when you are giving something to the needy people. So this is a very beautiful project which we keep on doing on regular basis. So these are the few things which we are doing.
Thank you so much, Karun ji. And I think you're doing some good work in this direction. आपने कुछ अच्छे steps भी लिए हैं, where you have kept out that the giving refrigerator. This भी बहुत अच्छा idea है जो across the globe बहुत जगह implement किया गया कि food waste ना हो. जो भी food है उसको आप कैसे ना कैसे preserve करके आखिरी जो भी resource है वो resource खराब नहीं हो. क्योंकि एक सिंपल सी चीज जो हम बहुत जने काफी बार भूल जाते हैं कि आपके शायद बच्चे के टिफिन में एक सिंगल रोटी, पराठा है, कुछ भी जो उसके वहां तक पहुंचा है, that has already consumed a lot of energy. खाना प्रोड्यूस करना is one of the biggest energy consumers in the world. तो हमें समझना होगा कि वो जो आप खाना वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, आप खाना वेस्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो आप उसकी पूरी चेन के इतने सारे रिसोर्सेज हमेशा के लिए खत्म कर दे रहे हैं. तो प्रिजर्विंग फूड इज अ वेरी क्रिटिकल आइडिया इन दिस. प्रिजर्विंग वाटर एंड 100% सोलर कंप्लायंट स्कूल आप हो गए, जो कि बहुत अच्छी चीज है. एंड आई थिंक जो सोलर कंप्लायंस है, इसको स्कूल्स को अब नेक्स्ट लेवल ले जाना चाहिए. एंड यू शुड स्टार्ट सपोर्टिंग द कम्युनिटी अराउंड यू, कि जो आप एक्स्ट्रा एक्सेस इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, या तो वो वापस से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड को दीजिए, जो नॉर्मली जा ही रही होती है क्योंकि सब ग्रिड से कनेक्टेड है. बट यू शुड फाइंड मोर क्रिएटिव वेज कि आप उसमें कोई एक डिजिटल लैब ऐसा कुछ खोल दीजिए जो कि अंडर प्रिविलेज बच्चों के लिए किसी ना किसी तरीके का एक्सेस दे. बिकॉज इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज नो मोर जस्ट अ रिसोर्स, इट्स एन इनेबलर फॉर इक्वालिटी. जिन बच्चों को बिजली नहीं है, डिजिटल चीजें नहीं है, वो एजुकेशन को एक्सेस ही नहीं कर सकते. तो ये अब एक एंट्री बैरियर हो चुका है. तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को हमें और डेमोक्रेटाइज करने की जरूरत है कि हर किसी तक बिजली और डिजिटल रिसोर्सेज पहुंच सके. So thank you so much, Karun ji. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Kalpana Mohan, the Academic Advisor and Executive Director for the Basil Group of Institutions, Academy of Creative Teaching from Banglore, Karnataka. Kalpana ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm.
Thank you very much, Daksh. It was fantastic, and all the speakers are going beautifully on the topic. But my only concern is, as a person who's been there in the field of education, what I'm feeling is it's not that so much of concern what is shown by the students about environment. They do conduct environment days and enjoy the life and things like that. But how much it's gone into their mind is something which is a very, very big question. So for me, sustainability bringing into the school is creating awareness and how students contribute towards it. That's one of the main things when I want to look into the sustainability in a campus. First and foremost, the children are first to be taught what is need and want. The basic idea is there are something which is are required for life, and there are something which is maybe a greedy liking for that, desire. So children need to be told, live a minimalistic life rather than going in a very extravagant way and wasting things, as just we heard about wasting. It's not only food I'm talking about. There are all the things which are going to be in and around. The environment requires so many things. We have huge population. Everybody is going to contribute to the deterioration of environment, definitely. How to stop this? How to make a somewhere around the huge impact should be minimalized. How we do that? Teach the children that. That's the first part of it. Because there are so many other things, so many things the children can do. If they want to buy something in the next floor, you walk. Instead of going in a bike, you go in a cycle. We can tell them that. It is going to contribute hugely to the environment and also your health. You don't need to go to gym. You can just cycle and you get it. You walk and you get it. And why to give so much of electricity, plays and equipments and so many things for a gym. You have natural ways and you use natural things to the maximum. Remove the disposable things, all plastic cups or anything which is even biodegradable disposable things also we can reduce, particularly paper. In schools and colleges and universities, what kind of paper we use? We know paper is made of cutting of trees and recycled papers, everything is fine. But it go little digital. Make the use of today's current environment saving thing. We are already into digital world. For the 2 years of pandemic, we lived only on digital world. And it was not so difficult for us. As you say, that Google Forms. Otherwise, we used to send one letter. How much things are saved? Those things we can bring into the ideas of the children. What all the possible ways we can use to bring down wastage, pollution, at the same time, your health improvement. Organic gardening, in home, in school, eat home cooked food. Do not waste, do not cut anything which is unwanted. So everything is going to be a part of our own lives. So what I would suggest as an advisor, most of the schools, wherever I go, ask the children to play well, to eat well, at the same time, stop wastage in every walk of life. Even in the classroom, when the teacher is asking a question or an answer, speak only which is required. In fact, some of the schools can think what Usha is doing an amazing job there. Basically, we can have open air to lessen the lights and cold and thick clothing and warm clothing when there is winter, rather than putting a heater or an AC. So those things possibly we can bring into the children's mind. For me, that is more sustainable. As you said, some words will go right into the brain of the children when it's taught in the school. The teacher says, the teacher is God. Even today, even 12th grade child can say, my teacher said that. So I did it in the school where I was working. Children stopped parents from buying colas and also there is Pepsi drinks and also junk food. They stopped their parents. Don't do that. Bring Elni Amma like that. ये जो है मैं sustainable बोलती हूँ. Thank you for the opportunity. Wonderful and very good panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kalpana. And I think a very important element, जो I think आपकी पूरी talk में से take away होना चाहिए, let's teach all the children the difference between need and want. ये ऐसा एक challenge है जो कि बड़ों को समझ में नहीं आता है. बच्चे समझ जाए तो बहुत बड़ी बात है. Because ये जो need और want का difference है, ये अगर समझ में आ गया तो दुनिया की इतना सारा marketing expenditure बेकार हो जाएगा. So I think whether it is for the industry or against the industry, we don't know, but it's for the people that we know for sure. उनके लिए ये पॉजिटिव है और ये सिखाना बहुत जरूरी है. एंड आई थिंक आपने लास्ट में उन 3 शब्दों के साथ उसको बहुत अच्छे से प्रोवर्ब में स्टिच आउट कर दिया, दैट प्ले वेल, ईट वेल एंड स्टॉप वेस्टेज. तो एक ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि वेस्टेज बंद हो. एंड उसमें आपने उसको खैर एक क्लास का सरकाजम दे दिया कि बच्चे बोले भी उतना जितना जरूरी है, लेकिन ये सिखाना बहुत मुश्किल होगा. बट थैंक यू सो मच फॉर शेयरिंग दीज small little tips जो कि कहीं भी किसी भी जगह without a lot of resource आप implement कर सकते हैं. So let me invite the next speaker for today, Ms. Pratiba Sapori, the principal of Springdale School from Jammu and Kashmir. So Pratibha ma'am, आपके यहाँ पे क्या experience है sustainability का, and वहाँ पे are there any regional things जो कि आपको लगता है कि पुराने ideas थे जो वापस से आ जाने चाहिए, या कुछ ऐसी चीजें जो आपको लगता हो यूनिक हो जो कि और schools में implement की जा सकें to build a sustainable school campus. Over to Pratibha ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Since my all friends in this panel has talked so much and expressed their ideas about the sustainability. So first of all, I want to, sustainability, I feel, is everyone's responsibility. So it's important for all of us, not only for we are teaching children, it's like a community. It's responsibility of all of us to take care of our environment and to spread the message of sustainability among our parents, between our students, even teachers also. Like we are teaching as leaders or teachers, we are teaching children. But it's our responsibility to spread the message so that we can produce the sustainable citizens for the future, for their future generation. Like I'll share my these ideas with you. This year, we have kept the theme of the school as Sustaination, a vision for India at the rate of 75. So it's on the purpose is that how the children will get to know, how they will feel, or how they will, when will they will feel and how they will implement all these practices within the campus and outside the school also. Like firstly, we are doing the practice of rain harvesting in our school. Second thing is that instead of using water coolers, since our school is in remote area, we have ample of land, ample of trees of mangoes, of lychees, and even vegetables also. So and our maids, they are also from remote areas. We have kept, like selected a patch of land where we have kept a sand, and we have kept some earthen pots there. And with the earthen pots, there is a small tap attached to it. And when the children feel that they want water, it's literally we are doing it. They feel thirsty and they go and take the water from the earthen pots. It's so, the taste and the texture of the water is so tasty and they like it. And even they have done these practices at home also. And the parents are happy that whatever you are teaching the students, they are actually implementing. And when we are implementing these activities in the school, the objective and the motto of the leaders and the teachers and the society is that it should be sustained. It's not that we are doing activities in the school for a year and after that it will be over. No, it should sustain for a long. Secondly, since we are doing the activities, we have make it an objective to use no paper. Activities are done from the waste material which is already in art room, in one or other corner of the school. We don't use any charts or any other things for the activity. We have framed, like I'll give an example, we are doing the eco brick activity. So we tell the students that whatever, if you have plastic bottles at home or if you have poly bags at home, get them. And even in our kindergarten or in small primary classes, we have made the tables and the stools of the plastic bottles. And that is done by the eco brick activity. So there are so many things which we are implementing in the school. Less usage of water in toilets. And if you are getting the tiffin in the school, don't bring in silver foil, get the chapati in your tiffin box only. So these are small practices which we are doing in the school, but the objective is how it will sustain for a long. It should not be for a fixed time that is year में हमारा theme vision for India है, तो next year कुछ और होगा, and the children will forget.
Thank you so much, Pratibha ma'am. The 3 minutes are over, and I think आपकी एक eco brick activity काफी emulatable है, where you try to do a lot of stuff with waste material and reducing the use of aluminum foil. And I think ये छोटी चीजों को थोड़ा और deeply बच्चों को समझाना जरूरी है, ताकि they start experiencing the difference. बिकॉज चैलेंज ये है कि आप एक बार जब इंस्ट्रक्शन दे देते हैं कि अच्छा सब आप ऐसा मत कीजिए, तो बच्चा उसे एक बार फॉलो तो कर लेगा, पेरेंट्स कंप्लाई कर लेंगे, बट वो जो कंप्लायंस है वो लर्निंग नहीं है. दैट वी ऑल अंडरस्टैंड द काइंड ऑफ लेजिस्लेशन दैट वी हैव. हम लोग कानून को कंप्लाई करते हैं लेकिन हम उससे सीखते नहीं है. एंड अनटिल अनलेस यू डोंट लर्न फ्रॉम इट, तब तक वो चीज आपकी लाइफ का पार्ट नहीं बनती है. तो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि कंप्लायंस के साथ साथ बच्चों को कहीं उसका लॉजिक, कहीं उसकी लर्निंग साथ में उन तक पहुंच जाए, because शायद then it will stay with them for a longer period of time. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Dr. Rajesh Sharma, the principal of Sardar Patel Public School from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Rajesh ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very
Thank you so much, Daksh, and thanks for the opportunity. I'm sure when we talk of sustainability, I think in 3 directions. One is the environmental, second is the financial, and third is the academic. When we are talking of a school, all these 3 factors come into picture. As a campus, ideally, I would be, happiest person if we can have a 100% sustainable campus where everything is produced. Practically not possible. Okay, because whatsoever children are consuming, whatsoever staff is consuming or school is using, everything should be available in the school or produced in the school. That is sustainability as for me. But nevertheless, whatsoever we can save for the environment is also helping the sustainability. When we talk of SDGs, as we have been talking right now by many panelists, SDG started in 15, already 7 years gone. We are in 22, and by 2030, it should have finished, right? So the best possible ways which we do it, we're starting with the solar energy for the school. Water, of course, sustainability is achieved. We recycle and reuse. Paper use is already reduced. We are reusing it. And whatsoever waste paper is there, it is used for the craft and paper mache. So that way we have made it how best. Let's reuse, recycle, and reduce the use of it. That is the way, and that's how we can maintain, because after all, academics also has to happen, and there has to be a financial viability of everything. Because a school, you cannot just run on the idealistic situation of environment only. So that's how I think, and that we inculcate in the children that yes, you have to follow a lifestyle which helps others. It is not a planet for everyone. So that is the message, and thank you so much, Daksh, once more.
थैंक यू सो मच राजेश जी, आपने पूरे डिस्कशन को प्रैक्टिकलिटी की तरफ मूव कर दिया, जो कि बहुत अच्छा एस्पेक्ट था, बिकॉज हम बहुत आइडियलिस्टिक अभी तक हो चुके थे. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट कि असल में दिक्कतें क्या हैं. आपने एनवायरनमेंट, फाइनेंस और एकेडमिक्स इन तीन पर फोकस किया, एंड उसमें आई थिंक द आइडिया दैट कैन अ कैंपस रियली बी सेल्फ सस्टेनिंग. क्या आप अपने कैंपस के 2000, 3000, 5000 बच्चों के लिए क्या एक ऐसा इकोसिस्टम सच में बना सकते हैं कि उनके लिए जो रिसोर्सेस चाहिए वो आप अपने यहाँ पैदा कर सकें? अगर वो नहीं कर सकते हैं तो क्या आपका स्कूल अपने आसपास की कम्युनिटी, आसपास के स्कूल और अपने सिटी को ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि वो अपनी जरूरतें खुद मीट कर ले? बिकॉज दिस इज राइट नाउ द प्रायोरिटी ऑफ एवरी सिंगल कम्युनिटी अक्रॉस द ग्लोब, कि क्या हमारी कम्युनिटी अपने आप को सस्टेन करा सकती है, एंड कैन वी क्रिएट एवरीथिंग दैट वी नीड फॉर आवरसेल्व्स. एंड आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस टू फाइंड financial viability in this model in some way or the other. नहीं तो environmental viability खत्म हो जाएगी. तो वो environmental viability और financial viability का trade off है जो कहीं ना कहीं निकालना होगा. So thank you so much, Rajesh ji. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Shanoli Ray, the principal of Satyamev Jayate School from Kolkata, West Bengal. Shanoli ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Daksh, for inviting me, and a very good evening all over here. So I also feel the same as other speakers have expressed their views, that sustainable school campuses are need of the hour, and we should have an innovative and creative approach involving all the students right from the pre-primary level to have the practices in the school campuses. So basically, my school is in a rural area. We have limited resources, but we have started some kind of practices that is eco-friendly and environment-friendly. And right from the pre-primary level, we try to incorporate such practices involving those students. First of all, I'd say in our school campus, all the furniture is 100% refurbished furniture that we use. We have created a separate workshop adjacent to the school, where we involve the middle school children, because we have till now till middle school in our school. So these children go and paint the furniture. This is part of our craft activity. So that is how, so this is 100% refurbished furniture that we are using. Next, another thing that we have made compulsory in our craft activity, that preparing cloth bags with used old clothes. Okay, so all the students bring old clothes, and they have prepared small or big bags out of clothes, and that cloth bags are used both at home and in school. So no plastic packets they are allowed to bring. So, and these cloth bags, their parents, we have also informed the parents to carry these cloth bags for regular marketing or any purposes. So this is a very, I think, I mean, we get a very good feedback on this project. Next is we have informed our parents to send food for tiffin without any wrapper. That means sometimes they send biscuits, cakes, or chocolates. So we have asked to keep the food in a box and then send. No wrapper is allowed inside school campus. So if these are some of the techniques that we can find automatically, schools are can avoid garbaging some plastic bags and packets and all these things. Next thing is all our bins that we use both in our classrooms or outside, all are created from old cartons or boxes. Okay, even students bring old boxes and they decorate very nicely. And we have kept all this part of our craft projects or SUPW project, so that these all bins are used in classrooms and all. Next is we have stopped using plastic buckets and all. We use, as this is rural area, we can get big jars, clay pitchers and clay pots available. So we have used that for storing water. And last is we have started kitchen garden. So there what is we called that seed plants day. Today only we did that. So every week, the students, whatever fruits they eat, they keep the seeds in some place, and once a week we plant those seeds in the garden. So in this way, even from the pre-primary students also, they also get involved in the plant.
Thank you so much, Shaloni ma'am. The 3 minutes are over, and I think आपने जो important points कहे उसमें 100% refurbished furniture and furniture painting being a part of craft, and no packaged food in the campus, and clay pitchers और clay pots का इस्तेमाल. ये ऐसी चीजें हैं जो I think across board की भी जा सकती हैं, financially sustainable भी हैं, and इतना ज़्यादा impact नहीं करेंगी. So we have listened to all the speakers for today. सबके हमने first level thoughts सुन लिए. The next portion of the discussion is an open floor. But before I go into the open floor, let's go back to Usha ma'am, क्योंकि I would rather consider her an expert क्योंकि उन्होंने पूरा spectrum जी लिया है. And she has actually visualized the kind of a school के अंदर they have implemented the expensive part of sustainability. और राजीव जी ने बहुत important point कहा कि financial sustainability and ये वाली sustainability एक साथ कैसे लेकर आएंगे. So Usha ma'am, what's your thought on it? And can sustainability be financially viable? If yes, then have you done something or have you experimented something? Or if no, तो हमें ये कहना पड़ेगा that sustainability is a part of the branding process of things. So what's your take on that? And then it's an open floor. If you can unmute yourself, just try to take care of each other.
It is actually not a viable thing initially because it requires, suppose example, depends upon what you're using. Now I understood with the trial and error that Daksh Gaur ji, that हम इसको viable बना सकते हैं. Because earlier हमको बड़ा excitement होता है. We want to make it viable, and then we get into a lot of things like I got laterite stones from Banglore. Then I realized, okay, I'm getting gypsum from Iraq. So gypsum is not made here. So I understood that if I want a non-toxic grass material, I have to go to Australia. So where is the thing of sustainability doing it in India? India में से जो मिलेगा हमको मिलेगा clay, हमको मिलेगा mud. So can we make mud bricks? Now I thought my dining block is still not ready. So I'm thinking of using a lot of bamboos and clay bricks. And that is the viability actually. Because if we use that and instead of using the ready-made laterite, so I'm giving you an idea because now I've understood, because I burnt my fingers with little expensive things which I've used in my school. The cheaper proposition is using clay bricks and using steel, which is not the original steel, but it's called as a green steel. It's like a beaten steel. We're going to use that, and we're not going to use cement in my new block, which is coming up, which I have done a lot of research with the architect college, because I don't have an architect. Even for my previous project, I didn't have an architect. I turned into an architect but a little expensive architecture it became. So now I learned through the hard way through, and I also talked to a few students of the architect college. I understood that there could be Atangudi tiles could be used on the floor, which can be given work to karigars instead of ready-made tiles to buy and put it. It's a little cooler effect, and we can also use it for sculpture classes, apart from the children using for dining block. So a lot of things could be multi-used, and so that, it's again reused kind of a thing, the spaces as well. So that, you have a lot of space as well for children. Now, what we actually sustainable, why we are on the next level, we talk about sustainability in our school, how we have a great impact on our children is, we talk about financial economics and agroeconomics. This is a must for any sustainable school to do, because as Daksh ji was just telling, that are we growing enough to be sustainable in school? But because you're growing vegetables and stuff like this, if we have enough, then children should know how to sell it, make money, and that becomes agroeconomics, because they are trying to sell it, and financially it's viable, because it's not only going to be sufficient because we cook food in-house. Any sustainable school, you should have organic stuff to be given. And so we give organic breakfast and lunch, and you'll be amazed that we give it free of cost. We don't charge anything for it. So naturally, I want children to be using that instead of bringing the food from the house. So when we are cooking in house, and this vegetables and fruits, whatever we are growing, that should be sustainable enough to be for us, as well as to give it to the society. So that is the community I'm saying. And also that about the financial economics is, we have a green cafeteria which is coming up. Right now, they're working in my small cafeteria, which is also a kind of a kitchen and cafeteria, where children learn how to make things and how to sell. And that is where we start with a young entrepreneur program, wherein they'll be sustainable in their living as well. We need to teach them that, how they can become entrepreneurs. Everybody, we cannot become entrepreneurs, but then, are they going to be always working for others? Are they going to provide jobs for many? Because in 2000, see, today when we had pandemic, we didn't know that A plan did not work. Where is my B plan? Everybody was out of job because the job did not work. But then if you're entrepreneurs, you can always fall back on your entrepreneurship skills. That's how it is. So carpentry, those kind of SUPW, you call it in CBSE, those kind of things also actually are taught in our school. So that, pottery, carpentry, it's not belittling to saying that this can be done only in, by a carpenter, or can be done by a weaver. So they should know weaving, they should know carpentry, they should know sculpturing. So that is the fallback activity you can do when the thing doesn't work, like pandemic happened. So you have something to sustain on. So sustainability is also a sustainable living. And that's why the Young Entrepreneur Program and a social impact project. Social impact projects, why it's a master's, if you are good, if you know that you are telling them how to make this newspaper se banao, pencil banao, usme seed hai, usko phir se grow kar sakte hain, phir se reuse kar sakte hain, recycle kar sakte hain. But do you think that your community schools are doing that? Community schools are not doing that. Why can't you send your children as volunteers into the community schools and spread this message around? So that is called as a social impact project. Are you making that impact? Lake resurrection mat lo. Lake resurrection ke liye to puri government padi hai, wo karenge. But yes, the children should know that how to resurrect lakes. That's important. But you can work in a government school, adopt the Anganwadis, Balwadis, and tell them, these are the things which can be sustained. Actually, they're living in mud houses. They're living in houses where there's electricity. So what we have done is, if we are good enough, we had enough units. So I spoke yesterday to the BESCOM people. I said, these units, the solar units which we are generating, can we give it back into the villages so that their houses can be lit and even the roads can be lit? So this is what we have actually done that in the Kotur village. And I think we're very proud of it because our children are doing it. And these projects, when it's getting acclaimed, across the globe, and people talk about it, okay, they're getting awards because they're doing something for it. But I think already the whole world is working towards it. And if we are going to be the kind of the one to boost our children to get into the next level of, doing things better. And so I think we can make a better planet, right, Ms. Daksh? So this is what we are trying to boost our children to, to make the planet greener, and how they can contribute towards it.
Absolutely. So I think फाइनेंशियल वायबिलिटी भी सस्टेनेबिलिटी में कहीं ना कहीं आई जाएगी, क्योंकि इवेंचुअली आप कितने भी महंगे रिसोर्सेज इस्तेमाल कर लीजिए, आपको लोकल सोर्सिंग ढूंढनी पड़ेगी, उसके बिना वो चीज स्केल अप नहीं होगी. एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली, आप भले ही ग्लोबल सोर्सिंग कर लीजिए फॉर योर रॉ मटेरियल, फॉर एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग, the final solution has to be practical and it has to come from your surroundings only. And I think एक बहुत important element, एक बहुत important role that every school has to play in being a sustainable campus. That if you cannot afford becoming a sustainable campus, at least start advocacy for that. वो आप बहुत आसानी से कर सकते हैं. That you start talking about it कि आप अपने घर पे क्या कर रहे हैं, आप अपनी कम्युनिटी के साथ कौन सी लर्निंग शेयर कर सकते हैं. आप एक आंगनवाड़ी को भले ही गोद न ले सकें, लेकिन you can take care of the people that you have with you. You can strengthen that message. वो कम्युनिकेशन, वो एडवोकेसी आपके कंट्रोल में है, उसमें रिसोर्स नहीं लग रहा है. The only thing that you have to spend if you really want to create a good environment is a good will to do it. तो वो will और intent वो बहुत आवश्यक है. And I think the main objective of today's discussion was to typically inculcate that will within you कि क्या आप सच में वो intent करते हैं. अगर वो intent करते हैं तो find out ways of doing it. And I think इसमें बहुत important aspect ये है that it has to be and it must be financially sustainable, because that's the easiest way to scale anything up. क्योंकि वहां कन्विंसिंग खत्म हो जाती है, फाइनेंशियल अफोर्डेबिलिटी सबको अपने आप कन्विंस कर देती है. So you can only make sustainability successful if it's financially sustainable. So you're all a part of Blub of 189th episode. Before we conclude, we are trying to do something with a lot of teenagers across the world. We are trying to create the world's first and the biggest parliament of teenagers. In the last 1 year, we talked to many teenagers. So in the last 1 year, we tried to interact with many teenagers across the globe, and we created the world's first and the biggest parliament of teenagers. And we call it the World Teen Parliament. The idea behind this parliament is pretty simple. We are trying to give teenagers the power to influence policy making and decision making globally. In the last year, nearly 72,000 teenagers applied for the process of becoming a member of parliament. The top 100 teens who are right now the members of parliament and working on different issues for the last 6 months secured 235,000 votes to become a member of parliament. The activity generated more than 15 lakh plus social media views, likes, and shares, and it created 15,000 centimeter squares of organic news. And the very simple reason why all of this happened at absolutely no cost is the right intent behind it. The complete project is funded by Blub World. No, not a single teenager, not a single school had to pay anything to the project. The only thing that they had to spend was their intelligence and their time on a very simple question, that how will I improve the world? So I request all of you to start giving teenagers the power to change things. Because the teenager that you have in your classroom right now, he does not want to listen to anyone. And if you make him listen, you are wasting his energy. So let's not waste that. Let's give them the right kind of power to change the world around them. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub World Web Talk 189th episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio and say a big yes. And thank you so much for being a part of the Blub World Web.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, and wonderful topic.
Wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Daksh. It was really nice to discuss.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy learning, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Daksh, also. For,
Thank you so much.
Sharing, we all share the ideas, and it was a good session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.